and by hook or by crook, the Jags are 4-1.
We all know how great Patrick Mahomes is. Okay, there's no denying that. Last night, and more great moments for him, 29 of 41, 318, one touchdown. Did have the one big pick six. Both these quarterbacks, by the way, last night, I thought were dynamic with their legs. They found a way to slip and go. I thought it was more dynamic, obviously, for me on the Jag side. The lack of adjustment on the Chiefs' defense to contain Lawrence with his legs. They found out a way late in the game, started spying him just a little bit in some plays. He had 54 yards on the ground, a lot of big ones, 2 touchdowns with his feet. But when I'm talking about greatness, you talk about quarterbacks, I mean, I'm not saying that Lawrence is great, but last night he made some phenomenal throws in pressure moments. Like, you look at those passes, the arm strength to get it done. The one over the top at the end that went, oh my gosh, it was just like poetry. Watching him throw the football last night.
He looked like the quarterback that we were billed out of college, right? This franchise changer, this generational prospect, which is thrown around far too often these days, in my opinion. But he was making incredible throws, and and I'll throw my hand up and say I did not expect him to be that dynamic of a runner. I mean, he had a different kind of pep in his step last night. I thought he did a really good job. I thought there were a couple plays that maybe he bailed out too early. There are a couple plays, and I think he learned because he held on to the ball too long at some points. Because me and my buddy were counting. I'm like, dude, he's got 4 seconds in the pocket. I mean, they're dominating the Chiefs D line right now. He's got 4 seconds. You got to rip it. Just get it out there. I thought the Jags O-line did a really decent job of protecting him. The receivers were doing a pretty okay job, and you saw a couple grabs from Brian Thomas. It seems like he's starting to wake up a little bit after a slow start. But yeah, I mean, he was dynamic with his legs. And then what else can we say about Mahomes? I mean, when he was
fantastic last night.
Yeah, he has the one gaff where it was bad. I mean, he threw it right to the guy, and they get a 99
Well, if you look at that play,
out.
though, I was watching the Manning cast, and again, I'm not the X and O's guy, but the way they were talking about the center, they're keying on the center, which way the center goes, it's which way the defense goes. You could see the center exactly as they called it. The center went to the right. You get the little fake blitz and back into it, and Mahomes just didn't see it. Priceless. It was perfect. Perfectly played.
That's a great defensive call. And,
that's watching film. Yeah. Obviously, you know that.
Yeah. And that's a young defensive playmaker making a play, right? That's somebody who's stepping up and in a big moment finding a way to make a difference and getting that 99-yard touchdown. Great blocking on that touchdown by the Jags. I thought they had some great downfield blocking to kind of spring Devin Lloyd a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, really back and forth game. It was super entertaining. It wasn't like most of the Monday night games that we've seen. Last week was kind of a drab fest, and Baltimore, Detroit was pretty good. But now when you look at the scale of those two teams, it just does kind of feel like maybe that was Baltimore's kind of last gasp for a little bit. But this is, I don't think the Chiefs are down and dead by any measure. No, I think they ran into a good game plan in a raucous Jacksonville environment. And, now we get premium jagulation. That's what's going on. I mean, they've got that thing humming down there.
Justin, that is so funny.
That is good. I don't know if we could say that on there.
T-Law was running like Sanchez in an alley.
That was pretty funny.
That's pretty funny. Good morning, Justin. Good morning, Ryan 840. Also, by the way, I thought in the game, I think nationally got our first look at who? Travis Hunter and how special he can be.
Yeah, I thought he looked athletic. He looked like when he was on the field, he looked like the most athletic guy.
The one play he made in front of the two.
Yeah, where he just jumps up and leaps.
I'm gonna high point it better than all of you.
Oh, he high point, like his belly button was where the ball was, and I was like, I turned to my buddy and I go, "Is that the first time that the Chiefs have been out athleted?" I'm like, I've never seen somebody just out athlete somebody in the NFL. That doesn't happen. Kobe's saying Travis should just play offense. I'm inclined to not disagree.
3 for 64 last night.
He looked incredible. And they got him the ball in some unique spots. They ran like a little RPO where he just kind of slid along the line, right after the big touchdown catch. And I thought that was innovative. It's the old Urban Meyer thing with Curtis Samuel. When the big moments come, you just find a way to get a good player a touch. Like, you want your best players to get touches. I thought the Jags and Liam Cohen did a really good job of getting their guys the ball and letting, like Kenny Dillingham said in a press conference, letting your players win you the game and not coaching your way to win the game. He just said, we want to put our players in spots. I'm sure Liam Cohen probably echoed the sentiment where he went, listen, I'm just going to get Travis Hunter a touch. I'm going to find a way to get Travis Etienne a look. And then, Trevor Lawrence, when it comes down to it, we probably had a great play dialed up to get Brian Thomas the ball, but he goes and makes a play. Right, you're not playing robotic football, not trying to, force the read. You just stumble yourself back up after you fall down a couple times. Nobody touches them. Get out of there, scramble, and make a play happen. That's exactly what happened a lot last night. I feel like Jacksonville had more moments, and they were able to make more plays, and that in the end was the difference. And obviously the Chiefs have some special teams issues to address, but I think that's the least of their concerns when your defense is giving up 31 points. I think it was a rare off night.
Looking ahead for both these teams, by the way, the Chiefs fall to 2-3, third in the division. Again, they're not down and out, but you look ahead at what they got in front of them. Sunday Night Football coming up this week. The Lions. They go Lions, Raiders, Commanders, Bills. That gets you in early November.
Yeah, it's certainly not an easy stretch of games.
At 2-3 right now. Who I believe might be playing the best team in all of football with the Lions right now.
Do they almost just have to split that just to keep where they want to be? I don't think you can have a 1-3 stretch through that.
You cannot.
I think you've got to find a way to beat probably the Commanders and the Raiders, but you're probably looking at it going, hey, can we pick one off with the Lions, or can we pick one off with the Bills? I know the Lions are playing really, really good football right now after, kind of stumbling out of the gates. They got an energized Packers team coming out of an off season. Like I can kind of write that one off for the Lions, but they've looked really solid ever since. I mean, they've won some tight ball games, but for the Chiefs, for me, they probably have to go 2-2 through that stretch just to be right,
just to keep pace.
Yeah, you just got to keep pace
with whatever happens in front of you. If you're a Jags fan, you're sitting there now. You wake up 4-1. You're tied at the top of the division with a surprising Colts. I would call them surprising right now.
They put the hammer down on the Raiders.
Yes, they did. And you've got a couple of big weeks before your bye week. If you're looking at from the Jacksonville Jaguars perspective, Sunday, they're at home. They get Seattle at home. Seattle's got to go across the country. You don't know how tough that is. We're going to talk about that from the Nebraska perspective and what's been going on around the landscape of college football on travel. They go home. They got 2 more home games. They go Seattle, Rams, and then their bye week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think here's the thing. We're going to get a fun AFC South. And the AFC South is usually fun, but it's not like this fun. Like, you might legitimately have a 2-horse race for the top of the division. I think Colts have been surprisingly good. I think Daniel Jones has played good football under Shane Steichen. They've got a real running game with Jonathan Taylor. The Jags are playing good. They've got some good weapons, and Liam Cohen seems to have that offense humming. And it kind of seems like the Texans had a get-right game against Baltimore where they just kind of vented some frustrations against a Baltimore team that's kind of beaten down right now. That South could get really interesting in a real hurry, where the Texans might try to reassert themselves into the conversation. They're talented enough they can do it because they kind of sleepwalked their way through the first 4 weeks, Huxley.
Yeah, they look pedestrian.
Average at best. I agree with you there. But this is going to be a really fun South to keep tabs on. It's a really fun division. It's kind of like the NFC West where you kind of have your 2 top front runners, but hey, there's somebody else making some noise in the kitchen. Somebody's knocking over pots and pans, and we got to figure out who that is.
I'm looking ahead. You're talking about those Colts right now. They get a bye week almost. I'm just kidding. I always like when they play teams. They got the their little stretch they have right now is not. You're going to look at the stretch for the Colts, and you're going to go, okay, there's a path.
There is a path
for the rest of October because they go Arizona this week at home.
Yeah,
they got to go to LA to play. I mean, you got to go to they play the Chargers. Which
not as scary as it was 2 weeks ago.
Then they get to come back home and play the Titans. That finishes out their October before they jump into November and have to play a busy stretch for the Colts when they go Steelers, Falcons, bye week, Chiefs, Texans.
Yeah, certainly backloaded, but you can definitely see a path, like you say, with the Colts. And Arizona can give guys, they can give teams fits. They do have talent, as every team in the NFL does, but they have some talents in some key spots. Arizona could give them fits. if Arizona decides to actually play like their talent level dictates that maybe they should. But I do think, they're going to get the Titans, and I think the Titans kind of drunkenly stumbled their way to a win against Arizona. Like, I don't know how that happened. Like, you get a should-be interception that fumbled into the end zone for it was a weird ending. Weird ending in Arizona.
Weird ending. They win.
But they won. By hook or by crook, Cooksy, you take the wins.
All day long. Kobe, you're right. Manning Catch is very interesting. I watch it from the Manning Catch perspective. It was interesting last night. They talked about how Hunter didn't practice offense in college, strictly with the defense.
But that's the kind of athlete that you're dealing with.
He's an athlete of athletes. He was fun to watch. We can like him now. Yeah. The fact that I
respect him.
Yeah, absolutely.
He said some glowing things about Nebraska.
Yeah, he
did. I think he hasn't gotten into trouble. So I can cheer on the young man and hope that he has a successful career. When he came off stumbling last night, I was like, oh, I don't like seeing special players get hurt.
Hugh Malone, what's up, brother? Hey, we got a full van full of railroaders listening. What's up, fellas? Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Be safe out there. Keep the trains out of the middle of town. We appreciate you. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll bring on our guy. This guy is going to be so happy when he comes on today. We're going to have a lot of fun. Robin Wash at HustlerOnline.com.
I think happy's an operative word there.
Boy, Robin Wash, just get ready.
They lost to the Aints.
No, we're going to just say without this. No, it's his fantasy football. Who he played. We'll do it without name and name. Having fun.
I had a bunch of guys on bye this week, and by hook or by crook, the fantasy team put up 156, so I went 2-0 this week.
Well, did we talk about mine last week? My fantasy football team.
Oh, how you get everybody's best punch?
Yeah. So this is after week. I'm now 1-4. I have now back-to-back 200-point weeks. Okay. I lost last week to Robin Washit by 0.6, scoring 204. Okay. I throttled a team this week. I scored 210. How about a couple of decent pickups with Dowdle? How'd that go? 206. White, the running back, Tampa Bay, big time.
Okay.
Now I got to figure it out. Like, I had Bijan on bye last week. I got Carter, the number. I have 4 number ones right now, like on their team, running backs. But when you look at it from the league perspective, I'm 1-4. I'm at the bottom of my division. I'm the 3rd highest scorer in the league. But I've given up the 3rd most. It's crazy. Like right now, points for, I've scored 896.6 points. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Points against me, 898.
Okay. We got a little bit of a leaky end there.
Hit me with your best shot. I feel like Nebraska.
I think you're getting the best shot, and then you're getting jumped by 2 other guys on the side. I think that's what's happening there. All right, I'm gonna dial
6 points.
I'm gonna dial up Robin real quick.
6 points, Kobe. Dude, he's such a stud. And Buka's a stud. Robin Washit. 4 point. No, ours is 6. Ours is a 6er. Kobe, ours is 6. We also probably some higher point totals also because we have defensive players and all that stuff.
All right, Oaksy, here we go.
Here we go. Welcome back in the morning hookup. Happy Tuesday. Let's bring on our guy from Husker Online, Robin Washit. Robin, happy Victory Tuesday.
Big one. Big one for both of us. It was a good week.
You have no idea how good this Tuesday is.
There was a lot at stake this weekend.
Yeah, I was asking the question, and I've asked this question before. Why is it like certain fan bases, they just, I don't know if is it spoiled, or they like just, oh, well, that was 1 week. We'll just turn the page. We don't want to talk about that. Like, just don't talk to you.
Convenient and they do and do not want to talk football. I've noticed that there's certainly a connection between the outcome of a game and how much NFL talk is wanted to be had.
Yeah, it's interesting. But congratulations on a victory. As both of us got good, solid fantasy football victories. I needed one. I was over, man.
Yeah.
I was really feeling
in a bad.
I was really feeling like the bagel was going to be all season long.
Yep, I've been there before. That when you're sitting there at 0-4, that's a real dark place to be in the fantasy football world. But to your credit, back-to-back 200-point weeks, you're rolling as hot as any team in the league right now. So the Hooksies are back on track.
I just was looking at the stats just a little bit. I've given up 2 more points than I've scored in the league in 5 weeks. 896 to 898.
Yeah, that's the beauty and the pain that is fantasy football, where there's really no rhyme or reason to like when you're good or like how you win. It's really all just a coin flip.
It is. We're speaking to Robin Wash at HustleLine.com. Robin, looking back real quick, Nebraska gets it done on Saturday, 38-27 against Michigan State. Give me a few takeaways, because obviously I think you can sit here and poke holes at whatever you want, and we'll get to some of those. But is it fair that the takeaway from my perspective is the fact that I think it's a constant theme now when you look at Cincinnati beating them the way we got it done there, Michigan State now. This is a team with mental toughness that finds ways to get it done, because we have not experienced this in the last 10 to 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's 2 examples now of games that last year, I think most people would say they lose them. You know, the Cincinnati game, that's 9 times out of 10 last year and the year before, probably a Nebraska loss, and they found a way to win. They made the big play at the end and won the game. You know, they came short against Michigan, but then, you know, to bounce back after stewing on that loss for 2 weeks and, you know, win a game like that, where it was kind of an emotional roller coaster as you're ever going to see, that I think says a lot that, you know, this team has grown a little bit to where, you know, the Tide, they got all the momentum early. And again, like there's so many instances over the past few years of Nebraska getting hot starts and then it collapsing. And then the snowball just keeps building and building and building to where it just avalanches and a surefire victory becomes a embarrassing defeat. Well, it kind of felt like it was headed that way when Nebraska gave up 21 unanswered and, you know, suddenly down by a touchdown, like, oh, how is this happening? Here we go again. Rather than, you know, tuck their tails and basically just concede defeat, they kept at it, and it wasn't pretty. You know, the offense certainly has a lot to clean up, but they found a way, and they made the plays when they needed to the most. They took over in the fourth quarter when they finally got the win back on their side, and again, found ways to win the game. And so that, you know, to me, if you want to look at signs of how this program has grown over the last 3 years, look at, you know, those 2 games in particular as an example. Because again, like, I just don't know if previous years they would have had the mental or other fortitude to win a game like that, and they did. And so, you know, that gives you a lot more confidence looking ahead the rest of the schedule, because the rest of this month is full of those 50-50 games where, you know, Nebraska's, you know, going to have a chance, but so is their opponent. And, you know, in years past, that's kind of defined every season for Nebraska, where they've lost those 50 games far more than they won. And then you kind of look at this year, they're ahead of the curve in those types of situations.
Robin, is it fair to say that winning a game like that, where it was ugly, it wasn't, you know, completely put together from all 3 phases, but they were able to finally gut out a win against a middle-tier Big Ten opponent, does that kind of win indicate the incremental progress that maybe we were expecting, that maybe people as fans were expecting of this program in year 3 under Matt Rule. And I know that this October is chock full of those middle of the pack teams, those 50-50 games, like you said. But it's winning a game like this against that kind of opponent, maybe an indicator of some incremental progress being done within the program, at least at handling the opposition that maybe you are supposed to be favored against from outside sources, but maybe also it's the kind of game where it could swing either way. Is there any incremental progress? Do you see anything with that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's kind of the surefire sign that this program is growing. And again, you just look at the examples, so many over the years that those exact same situations Nebraska's found ways to lose, and now they're finding ways to win. And it's maybe not the level of progress some people wanted when they're talking themselves into a college football playoff run, but to get to that point, you got to win games like this, and that's what they're doing right now.
Again, we're speaking to Robin Watch at HuskerOnline.com. Speaking of progress, you always, when you come out of bye weeks, you look at the units and say, all right, what did they do during the bye week? Talk about the defensive side. I thought John Butler and that unit were impressive at all phases from that side. You look at what Newari just got, the black shirt. The front got a ton of pressure against a line that's not as good as we've seen, but they got it done. You look at your linebackers, Shavers, flying around the football, and just call it now, they got the no-fly zone in the backside of that defense. Talk about what you saw there and if it's sustainable, because I know a lot of people are questioning because, you haven't seen this quite yet. But that secondary, 91.5-yard passing, no quarterback's been over 105.
Yeah, the secondary has been the constant where, they've been good from the jump. And, that performance against Cincinnati and Brennan Sorsby keeps looking better and better, where that guy is lighting it up and is playing his way up to be a first-round draft pick if he keeps up at this rate. And Nebraska held him under 100 yards, it was 60-some passing yards. So, that I think, at the moment wasn't appreciated nearly enough and only continues to be more impressive, and then they just keep doing it. I know they haven't faced, very many, elite level throwers. Underwood has got a big arm, but, he's kind of erratic. Childs the same way where, they haven't faced the elite pocket NFL level quarterback outside of Sorsby, but, regardless of who's in front of him, nobody's throwing the football. And that's a credit to the secondary. I think Sierra Wright is playing as well as anybody on that defense, and he's not putting up any numbers. It's because nobody's throwing his way, because when they do, it's an incomplete pass. So that is kind of play like that, where you have these individual efforts where Sierra Wright has taken away half the field. Andrew Marshall, I thought, stepped up and had a big game. Those back-to-back tackles, stop tackles that he had late in the game against Michigan State, those were impressive. That kind of made you do a double take. And then obviously Deshaun Singleton, Big Ten Player of the Week, had the best game of his career. At every spot in that secondary, guys are stepping up and making plays, and you're seeing new faces. Rex Guthrie suddenly is now a starter in that secondary. He started over Marquise Buford, who was a captain for that game, a black shirt single digit guy, and now you have this red shirt freshman that has passed him in the depth chart. So that is about as encouraging as there is on anything on the roster, is how well that secondary is playing, regardless of the opponent, regardless of the style of offense. The one thing we know is that the opponent is not going to throw the football against them. And when you have that type of secondary, suddenly that frees things up for your pass rush, where coverage sacks start to become a thing. And Nebraska finally took advantage of that, where 20 pressures, 5 sacks, they got after it. And, Williams-Nwaneri was kind of the center of that, where he led the team in pressures, got 2 sacks, and was really a disruptive force. Even when he wasn't getting to the quarterback, he was kind of ruining plays. And when you have a game record like that off the edge, Nebraska's seen what that can do. It wasn't too long ago Randy Gregory was doing that sort of stuff, and there's a lot of comparisons between Williams-Nwaneri and Randy Gregory, just with the potential that Williams has. I think that with the way that he's playing right now and how good he's gotten over the first 5 games, that's again another really encouraging building block. That that's a redshirt freshman right there. And you're talking about Rex Guthrie, that's a redshirt freshman. And you got all these young guys at all 3 of them. Dawson Merritt, true freshman, gets his first start at linebacker. So go across the board. It's not just that the defense is playing well. you got a whole bunch of young guys that are making big time impacts at all three levels. And so that was a really encouraging step forward. Now, the run defense, like Michigan State's not a great running team, and they shut that down. So like they did what they were supposed to do there. They got to do it again. Like that's got to be the hallmark. It wasn't too long ago Michigan was breaking off 75-yard touchdown runs at will. So like that was a good step back in the right direction. But now they got to go do it again against a Maryland team that is again probably going to watch the film and try to do the same things Michigan did. And they've got a dual threat quarterback that Michigan State, Michigan, Cincinnati have all had success with the QB run game. So that part of it is still kind of on the table of things that need to continue to trend in the right direction. But, you pair that with all the good that's happening on the defensive side of the ball. You really got to tip your cap to John Butler and what that defensive staff has done to this point.
Hey, Wash, is it also fair to say you're talking about the corners, and I thought the defense was more physical, got my air quotes up, than normal, but your corners set the tone because I thought I saw a different element of physicality from Wright and Marshall stepping up and making tackles.
Yeah, I mean, like when you have corners stepping up and making those type of impact tackles, solo tackles in space and doing it with that kind of physicality, that's a tone setter. It's one thing when, Javen Wright is breaking through and making a play. That's what you expect a linebacker to do. But when you're getting that type of physicality and those types of hits from your perimeter guys, like all of a sudden, I think that just sends a jolt of energy through the whole defense. And so, they did a good job of tackling, especially coming off a game where they did not do a good job tackling. Like the Michigan game was kind of embarrassing with some of the effort we saw, with one-on-one tackling. I thought that was much improved against Michigan State. And again, they're not playing the same caliber of athletes that Michigan had. Like, Aiden Childs is a good runner, but Bryce Underwood is a 5-star plus. They didn't have the running back that Michigan had. So like that, again, it's positives across the board. Now they got to go do it again. That's the challenge for this defense. Like this can't be this 1 week on, 1 week off type situation. They need to play at that type of level, especially with, all the questions that are happening on the other side of the ball right now.
Robin, let's go back to that jolt of energy. I think another big jolt of energy on this team has been Mike Eckler. I think the job that he's done with special teams, he's really put a fire under some of those guys and really energized them to play special teams. We talked about the 50-50 games before, and it felt like in this one, special teams was a very key factor, maybe the key factor to Nebraska winning. Do you see that being a consistent trend throughout these 50-50 games in October? And what kind of job has Mike Eckler done with this special teams unit already?
I mean, it's fantastic. It's the best return team Nebraska's had in 8 years, basically since J.D. Spielman was there, even going back to Des Moines personnel. Like they got actual production from their return game where that had been non-existent for far too long. So, I mean, that's kind of where it starts for me. Like they're starting to flip the field. And, Archie Wilson, he had some issues punting in the wind, but okay, that's to be expected when you're kicking to a 40-mile-an-hour wind gust. But I thought he bounced back and had a couple big punts late, including one that went inside the 10. And so, he's becoming a really stable force in the punting game. And then the Kyle Kinnanen, I think, has been, good. He missed one against Michigan, but came back and it made it kick into the wind against Michigan State. So I think really at every level, it's not just the special teams is being good enough. Like they're being game changers, like you said. They're flipping the field in the return game. They're making their kicks for the most part. The punting game is pinning offenses deep in their own territory. And when all those three things are clicking, and you're making punt blocks for touchdowns, and you're recovering fumbles on kickoffs. That's the difference in this conference. I mean, Iowa has made a program off of those types of plays on special teams. Kirk Ferentz has been around for as long as he has because of that commitment to special teams. And to see Nebraska now start to make those types of plays and have that type of attention to detail and enthusiasm about special teams, that's, I think, going to be a real X factor for this team, not just this season, but going forward. Because, in these coin flip games, there were 50-50 games that we're talking about, something's got to be the difference. And more often than not, especially in the Big Ten, special teams is that difference.
Watch it. Looking ahead this week real quick. We're headed to Maryland. First true road test. Talk about the Terps a little bit. I feel like this is a unique game for both these teams. Obviously, Maryland coming off a terrible, not a terrible loss, a gut-wrenching loss.
No, it was terrible.
It was terrible. Terrible. We'll give it terrible. But you look at Maryland, they got a couple of things. One on offense, they think they play right into our strength. They like to throw the football, have almost zero desire to really run the football. Not very good at it. But on the flip side, they get after the quarterback with a lot of sacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the biggest concern. Like, their quarterback's good. He's a true freshman, Malik Washington. He's a dual threat guy, I guess, but he's not a runner. Like, he doesn't run for volume. What he does is use his feet to buy time in the pocket. And so, like, I think I'd look this up on Pro Football Focus. The percentage of pressures he's faced that have turned into sacks is only 4.9% on the year. So, like, teams like hardly ever get to him. He just does such a good job of rolling out of the pocket, extending plays. And so, that's a challenge to Nebraska's defense. One, when you do get pressure, you got to get home and you got to finish the play, because he's really slippery and he's extremely good at, evading sacks and then turning potential, losses into big gains just with his mobility. And then the other part of it is coverage has to be able to stick with them for an extended period of time. Sometimes with the way that he's rolling around buying time in the pocket, you might find yourself covering for, 10 seconds or 15 seconds or whatever it may be. So that's the challenge on the back end. So, and then the linebackers, you got to make sure that you're keeping an eye on him and not letting him beat you with the big scrambles that have burned Nebraska many times over the season so far. Cincinnati did it, Michigan did it, Michigan State did it. So that's, there's challenges presented at all three levels of the defense. But the big one, like you mentioned, is on the other side of the ball with Nebraska's pass protection. It's not just an offensive line issue. Like, yeah, the tackles have been, beat for sacks, but you look at how these sacks are coming. It's not like guys are just getting blown off the ball and, matadoring defenders. It's the quarterback's holding the ball too long and receivers aren't getting off coverage. And that's kind of an issue. You go back to last year that they were having where, sure, the offensive line had its issues, but when teams know that they can pressure the quarterback and play aggressive press man defense on the perimeter and receivers can't get off the line, like, what do you do in the passing game? And so that's kind of what Nebraska found itself in the middle half of that game on Saturday, was that they didn't really have any answers, because, the offensive line was having their problems, but Dillon wasn't really seeing the field. And I think that some of that early pressure maybe rattled him a little bit to where he was missing open receivers. Like Matt Rule said himself yesterday, that there's a play Dane Key doesn't have anyone around him and he's open for a touchdown and Dillon just doesn't see him. And so, like, that's probably the more concerning part, is it's not just one thing when it comes to pass protection. It's not like, okay, the line needs to play better. The line needs to play better, but so does Dillon. And so do those receivers. And there's, basically every component of the passing game needs to step it up to keep one of Maryland's greatest strengths from taking over the game. So that's like number one on my concern, priority, whatever to-do list for this week is, at every facet of the pass game, they got to do a better job of, one, keeping the quarterback upright, and then the quarterback needs to do a better job of seeing the field, and then the receivers need to win those one-on-one press man battles, because it's on film, and every team that they face is going to try to do the same thing, and those receivers got to find a way to win it, and Dillon needs to find them when they're open.
Hey, Rob, real quick on hoops, real quick. I think we glanced over it a couple weeks ago, but I want to ask you, like, overall big picture recruiting. Obviously, we look at football, and football has peer recruiting going on, and you have former players coming back and all that stuff. But what's the impact of a couple weeks ago when Bryson, Trey, and Dad were in town with a 2026 recruit that Nebraska has got, that's their full attention? Is it the same impact having guys like that come back in the landscape of NIL and rev share? It's interesting. Those guys, first of all, great individuals overall, but they come back and spend a lot of time with the recruits.
Yeah, they've I don't know, for especially like a guy like Bryce, who was here for about like 7 months, like his love for Nebraska is pretty crazy. Like he could come back all the time. They love Nebraska. They love coming to games. And, I think a lot of that is a reflection of, how they viewed their experience here. Like things didn't go the way any of them wanted on the court, but that didn't change, I think the impact that their time as Cornhuskers had on them. And I think that's a reflection of the whole family, to where you talk to Bryce or Trey or Bobby, their dad, or, Pam, their mom, like any of them, they love Nebraska. They love coming back, and, they love being around the fan base and the program and all that stuff. So, that I think is a great representation for recruits when they see, look at this guy, he's, on a 2-way deal with the Pelicans, and he, really, he didn't do much from a team standpoint here, but he still loves everything about his university, and they have nothing but good things to say. And, I talked to the kid you're talking about, Jacob Lanier. He's a 4-star guard from Arkansas. He was on an official visit for the Michigan game. Yeah, Michigan game. And, I talked to his dad afterwards, and his dad raved about the time they spent with the McGowans, all 3 of them. And, they exchanged numbers. And I think one of the real things that hit home for them was the McGowans family, as kids from the South that really had no connection to Nebraska, culturally, we're experiencing something totally different than what they were used to, how much they loved it here and how much they felt taken care of. And they had a family atmosphere here. And, sometimes, when the money's the same or the playing time opportunity is the same or whatever it may be, that can be the difference still. I know everybody talks about like, oh, it just goes to the highest bidder. Sometimes, depending on the family, like parents want their kid taken care of. And when they have Bobby McGowan's raving about how well Nebraska took care of his boys, that hits home a little harder than just your normal recruiting pitch.
Robin, as always, thanks for hanging out with us. And again, happy Victory Tuesday. It's a beautiful day
Same
outside.
to you.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right,
we need to celebrate.
Yes, we do. And we will. So take care of yourself. We'll talk to you soon, brother.
Yep. See you later.
Robin Watch at HuskerOnline.com. Great stuff, him. Let's take another break. Come back. We'll wrap up hour number 1.
All right, long one here.
Pretty amazing dudes that come back and do that stuff. I got a chance to get to know Bryce and Trey. Good, just good dudes. I have a lasting memory of Trey. Just maybe you saw it or not, but like remember when they were at NC State?
Mm-hmm.
And there was like it was like the scuffle.
The 4 overtime.
And all you see is Trey, because he was out, comes scooting across on his little scooter, like he's gonna do something.
Hey, he was about that action.
Yeah,
he won. So he wanted to see some assistant coach just tripping his way so he could stick his leg out. You know,
look, man, they're the epitome of like what it's like to be a good human being. It's like honestly, like so I got a chance to catch up with them against Michigan, just because we exchanged numbers way back when they were here, and like hugs and all that stuff. One of the first questions they asked were about my kids. They got a chance to meet Ty and hang out with Ty and do just cool stuff.
It's a good deal. It's kind of people Fred recruits, man.
True that.
Well, with some exceptions in there. I'm not going to name names, but we know who the exceptions were. What do you think here?
A few minutes left. I don't know. Anybody else? Are you intrigued by LeBron today? Nope.
Oh, I think we could talk about that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, let's bring it up. We'll do that.
The decision: will I eat a grilled cheese or not?
Yeah. We'll talk. Let's just breathe because we won't have much time. We'll get that, and then we'll come back with baseball.
The decision: will I go to Roscoe's or will I have my personal chef cook for me?
Yeah, I don't know. Which aisle of the grocery store will I go down today?
Will I be on Brownie's Twitch stream?
Where am I taking my talents to?
The decision part 2.
Yeah.
Am I expanding my swimming pool? Should I invest in another restaurant? LeBron to Slim Chickens. Here we go.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring this up too.
You heard about the rave reviews from the KFOR crew.
I did. You guys rocked it. I'm surprised that you had a full slate to do whatever you wanted.
We weren't going to take you.
I'm going to bring that up real quick.
You
Elijah did you wrong on the picture.
Yeah, he did.
That's, by the way, that's not a picture to put on your profile.
No, it was funny though.
It was funny. Your comment was dead on too.
I look like an alien from Planet 51. It's funny. I look like I look like a wide-eyed, bushy-tailed young child.
They had just
Are
got.
we really
I think
going
they
to
had
get
just.
chicken?
I think they had just got done like feeding the visiting team too when you guys got there.
No, they were great. The staff down there was awesome.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
No, they were like, hey, Hooks has got all of it, and Elijah's like,
I told you to load up.
hey, I got 7 tenders.
Mhm.
Okay, I'd smash through mine just
I'm
fine.
surprised we can get a jar dessert. It was.
No, me and Elijah thought about getting a milkshake, but we were gonna pay for it with our own dime. We didn't want to take you to the cleaner show, opening up a new location. We can't do that to the crown prince of chicken.
It's coming. What?
Elijah's like, don't worry, we'll get him back. They'll learn plenty of my business at the new location.
You're playing. He's got. That's why I do it. I put it right by the. I put it for the people by the people.
Hey, the crown prince of chicken.
Wait till the wind blows a certain direction.
They'll start wafting into Elijah's house, and they'll be like, oh, I think it's a Slim Chickens kind of day.
Do you know Maryland they have 19 sacks.
I don't know. I would love to see the distribution. Like, is it interior pressures? Is it edge guys just getting loose? Like
19 sacks in his 5 games? They're 4-1 too. No, they weren't undefeated. No, never mind.
They were undefeated going into that Washington.
They were,
game.
weren't they? So they've got. Let's think.
They're 4-1. That's right.
Okay.
It's 2 4-1 teams. I'm surprised Nebraska's favored by even like.
Well, I think it's
6.5.
styles. I think everything they want to do plays into what we want them to do.
Well, yeah, because they can't run the ball.
No,
they cannot run the ball.
Again, they're sacks. By the way, they play Northern Illinois, Townsend, Wisconsin, and Washington.
Yikes! All right, here we go.
Welcome back in the morning Hookup. A few moments left. Thanks for hanging out with us. Special thanks to Robin Wash at HuskerOnline.com. Why is it I woke up this morning and my wife's one of her first I don't get this. Apparently it's like Amazon Prime Day. Prime couple of days.
Oh no.
Why is it such a big deal? I feel like it's like my wife when there's I'm not gonna say the word, a royal wedding. It's way more important. These days seem to matter more than most.
Well, I mean, it is a chance to get some early birthday shopping done, maybe some early holiday gifts.
Sure.
It's also an excuse for her to go, hey, if you want to, go hang out and do all your little activities, the iPad and the car, please.
Yeah, sure. It's just like it's heightened awareness today. Like I've gotten she's loading carts up. I'm like, what? Whoa, slow down.
I'm opening up a new Slim Chickens location.
Dang it, woman. Also, boy, I don't know if I'm making fun of it, but the big T's, I'm going to call them. Like you got to put out an 8 or 9 second video to announce an announcement.
I've never seen that before. We're announcing an announcement. Like, when does the world come to? We're in a recession here. I don't know what we're doing.
I mean, we know the time before he took his talents to South Beach and he disrupted the entire landscape of the NBA. Right? When he did that. But now he's sitting on I don't even know if I care. I think it's like at 11 o'clock today. He's sitting down to make some announcement. Now, there's conflicting whatever you want to believe. Is this his last year? I mean, if you want to bring all the attention, then do it. There could be he has a huge deal with Amazon, by the way.
It's a pretty big deal.
Could that be? It's like some Amazon deal.
LeBron to Prime. Here we go.
I mean,
what if LeBron's? What if it's all just it's like the decision. It's like LeBron's deciding to give away his 50% off Amazon Prime Day gift code.
I mean, it's his 23rd year in the NBA. I don't know if that makes a difference. Will you watch?
What's the decision?
Or if he's just doing a Taco Tuesday video that he's going to fool us all. Like, I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie, that would be pretty funny.
You
That
know,
would be like the most character development we've had out of LeBron if he just shows up and he
Yeah.
trolls everybody by saying like Taco Tuesday and then dipping.
yeah, isn't it like
That would be funny.
I just laugh. They're like, is it the World Series where like if they still obey us, there'll be free tacos at Taco Bell? Like, what if he just rolls it and just go Taco Tuesday and he rocks off?
Yeah, what if he just trolls for 30 minutes? What if it's just nothing and he's just trolling for 30 minutes and then they have to waste 30 minutes of ad space?
It's a waste of my time.
It would be pretty funny if he trolled. I'd go back and watch it.
Yeah. Justice, you're on fire. Greg said you're on fire with the rejoins today. Keep up the great work.
Let's go. I'm signed, sealed, and stamped, baby. That's what I like.
Yeah, I hope Ernesto's okay today.
It might have gotten into some
This might be a late arrival today.
little jagulation last
Yeah,
night.
I think so. In that game.
That and Old Frost is breaking news. LeBron announces Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
That's some amazing.
amazing
I was hoping there was going to be a joke in there. Thank you, Justin.
Yeah, amazing deals.
Some would say king worthy.
God,
Fit for a king.
he's gonna break the internet.
The
apparently.
decision.
The decision.
LeBron joining Bronny on Twitch stream once a week.
Yeah, put my jerseys on. Whatever. All right, you guys are out. Thanks for hanging out with us. Sit back, relax. We'll be back. Major League Baseball, Brian Munson, and a whole lot more.
Your home. Is your heating system ready for cooler temperatures ahead? Call Bryant for your fall heating check. No matter what brand of equipment you own, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean and inspect your furnace or heat pump to make sure you stay warm, safe, and comfortable. Call today to schedule your home heating check. 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Ready to turn that clumsy, outdated kitchen into a room you'll want to spend more time in? Call Lincoln's certified kitchen and bath designer, Pam Magner, at Reynolds Design and Remodeling.
Before we ever start, we ask questions, lots of questions, and we listen. Then we go to work designing and building a kitchen that's not only beautiful, but functions perfectly for you and your family.
A pleasant experience from start to finish. Value you'll enjoy for a lifetime. Get started at reynoldsdesignremodel.com.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Neil Armstrong waited 6 hours and 39 minutes to step onto the surface of the moon. Jackie Robinson waited 20 months to play his first game with the Brooklyn Dodgers. And even DiCaprio had to wait 22 years to win an Oscar. You can wait until your destination. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway
Lincoln's
Traffic-
local news, talk, sports, and weather station. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR, and KFRX HD3, Lincoln.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Attorney General Pam Bondi on Capitol Hill answering questions before a Senate committee on the deployment of National Guard to American cities, including Chicago. Here's ABC National Correspondent Stephen Portnoy.
Why do you want to keep this secret?
Illinois Senator Dick Durbin pressed the Attorney General for details on the deliberations leading up to the deployment.
I am not going to discuss any internal conversations with the White House with you.
Pam Bondi also refused to lay out any legal rationale the Justice Department has crafted for sending in the National Guard. And she accused the top Democrat on the Senate Judiciary Committee of allowing crime in Chicago to fester.
If you're not going to protect your citizens, President Trump will.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Bondi also accusing Democrats of shutting down the government, which means law enforcement officers aren't getting paid. Another group not getting paid, those who direct the nation's planes. Here's ABC transportation correspondent Stephen.
Just a week into the government shutdown, air traffic controllers across the country are beginning to call out in greater numbers. In California, Burbank Airport forced to close its air traffic tower with 0 controllers on staff. Controllers at another facility forced to take over, delaying flights by more than 2.5 hours all night.
ABC's Gio Benitez. The Supreme Court hearing arguments today on the constitutionality of conversion therapy, faith-based counseling aimed at changing a person's sexual identity. Health professionals have argued it does more harm than good. Today is the 2-year anniversary of the Hamas attacks that sparked the war in Gaza. Tal Hamadi's cousin was killed that day.
Barbarism, this hatred that just flowed in uncontrollably. It really was just the worst of humanity.
48 of the more than 250 hostages taken that day are still in Gaza, some alive, some dead. Talks taking place in Egypt on a ceasefire. This is ABC News.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-859-3220. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 to 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-859-3220. That's 800-859-3220 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. 800-859-3220.
Highlighting Lincoln's successes. Good morning. I'm Jeff Modes, 53 degrees at KFOR. In her State of the City address to a gathering this morning inside the Marriott Cornhusker Hotel for a Leadership Lincoln event, Mayor Larry Gaylor Baird said, while the state of the city is strong, it's important to continue investing into public safety. The mayor said as part of the commitment, she's convened a new public safety facilities task force made up of community members who will review LPD and LFR's facilities needs and make recommendations on how to meet them.
As is preparation. We know that first responders training, technology, and equipment can be the difference between life and death, which is why we invest in them.
The mayor also highlighted voters in April approving of the continuing of the quarter-cent sales tax with Lincoln on the Move Street Improvement Program. 11 employees of the Nebraska Department of Revenue were laid off Monday, and a satellite office in the Panhandle is closed down as Governor Pillen plans to seek $500 million or 10% cuts to the state's general fund budget next year as the state faces a more than $300 million budget shortfall. It's largely due to federal income tax cuts included in President Trump's domestic policy bill, which also applies to the state level. The Journal Star reports the cuts amount to about 2.7% of the Department of Revenue's workforce, which included 409 employees as of July. The theme for this year's Fire Prevention Week is Charge into Fire Safety, lithium batteries inside your home, and that includes educating kids on proper charging methods, such as charging laptops or tablets on a hard surface. It's also a good idea to have the right battery for each device.
Making sure, obviously, whoever's buying those products are buying the correct Underwriter Laboratories approved devices is a big one. And then also recycling those old devices and batteries in the proper manner so that they are not causing fires in landfills.
LFR Public Information Officer MJ Lehrman says the campaign is highlighting everyday items such as laptops, phones, e-bikes, or power tools that use lithium batteries. Sunny today and a high of 67. I'm Jeff Motes, KFOR News.
Time for your shot at $2,000. Pumpkin payout. Just enter this hour's word for your chance to win $2,000 from KFOR. Here's this hour's winning word.
Candy. That's candy. C-A-N-D-Y. Candy.
Enter that word at KFORnow.com, and you could be today's pumpkin payout winner of $2,000 from KFOR.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday. Today, visit Cintas.com.
This is the Morning Hookup on KFOR.
Welcome back to the Morning Hookup, hour number 2. I got no words for what we just talked about and what we just witnessed.
We got trolled, America. I told you it was a troll. I tried to warn the masses. I tried to say LeBron has a sense of humor. This would be the biggest bit of character development ever.
He did it. He's partnered with Hennessy.
Incredible.
I got no words.
You have no words?
No, I don't understand. It's embarrassing.
Hooksy, I fear I have a debt to pay.
You do. Ryan 840. Hey, let me know if Ryan 840. Are you still there? Before Justice is ready to pay off his debt.
Before I pay off my debt.
We're not going to play it. He's only going to do it once. Just type in, say, present, if you are still present before we do it. You heard also, by the way, coming back, there's a new keyword, KFORnow.com. You can go there, type in the word candy. I think LeBron just took it from us. CANDY. Ryan 840 says, always here. Are you ready? Turn up your radio.
Baseball season's underway. Well, you better get ready for a brand new day. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today. They're singing, go Cubs, go! Go Cubs, go! Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today. Go Cubs, go! Go Cubs, go! Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today. They got the power, they got...
You did good.
We just put that filth on the airwaves of Lincoln.
Well, you made the bet.
I did.
So you paid the debt.
And you know what? I'm a man of my word. I am a man of my word.
You did.
If I am nothing else in life, I am a man of my word.
He gave you the love. Ale for love.
God, I'm open for bad travel arrangements. Awful travel arrangements.
Boy.
I need several flight cancellations now. I'm talking horrible weather. Yeah, I mean maybe a delayed start because the plumbing bursts.
The Cubs might need a rain out too. They're down 2-0. Last night it was the long ball.
Last night it was the gopher ball.
The first game, not so much. This one, yes, 7-3. They're down 2-0.
That is not desirable, is it?
You had to ride with one of them. Who would you ride with?
Neither. I'd still ride with neither. I don't like either of them. I don't like the Cubs or the Brewers. Like if it's the Reds, it's a different story. I could be like,
well, it was never going to be them.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I can kind of get behind the Reds. No, just I don't know. Whoever's going to lose to the Dodgers the quickest. Is that a bad answer?
No, it's appropriate.
It's just like whoever's going to get curb stomped by the Dodgers the quickest. I can't in my life root for the Cubs. I can't do it. I also can't in my life root for the Brewers because they're low bro. So
you're just not watching this series.
No, I am staining from this series. I'm not watching a lick of it. I'm not. When I found out Shota Imanaga got yanked after 2 2/3 yesterday, shout out my buddy. He's a Cubs fan. Love him, except for that part. I found out Shota Imanaga got yanked after 2 2/3. I'm like, oh, you guys just don't stand a chance, do you? That pitching rotation ain't deep enough, big cat.
Not right now. He said, got our hands full with the Brew crew besides his blinders on Cubs. You still no ball.
I'm a man of my word.
Still no ball. There you go. Well done.
My worst take of all time. Congratulations. The Padres did not break a run record, but they did break a record, Hooksy. Most umpires assaulted on the way back to the dugout.
That was nasty.
They did. They
now,
broke a record.
The call was absurd.
Well, yeah, the call's absurd, but they still broke a record for most umpires assaulted on the way back to the dugout.
There's things you can't do. Boy, I tell you what, watching the other game I did not watch last night. I got worried, but I did catch up on highlights. Dodgers take a 2-0 lead in 2 highly contested ball games. You're going to go down to one play. One, it was a heads up, smart baseball IQ play, and Mookie Betts calling the wheel play with the bunt last night. Question coming: should the bunt be in play? Are you playing for the tie? Are you playing for the inning? I don't know. It was an interesting call last night.
Where have we gone to?
We've never bunted, by the way. They don't bunt.
Where have we gone to as a society that we're playing for a tie? You play to win the game.
I know,
and
especially in the major leagues, like it's almost like the Phillies have changed who they are in this series,
and it's gone horrible.
It's gone terrible for them.
And you know what the Dodgers are? The minute the Dodgers get into a DS or a CS, you can pretty much stamp them to go to the World Series. They just kind of have that pedigree about them. Me and my buddies were having an honest conversation. I'm curious to get your thought about this. We were just having some lunch table talk, and we were like, would it be better for baseball if the Dodgers made the World Series and lost? If you add the human element in. So let's say like the Mariners make the World Series, and then you get a West Coast series.
So you're talking about like ultimate sadness.
Yeah, but you get like the Mariners like first ever title. Like there's pure elation, but then on the other side, it's like the evil empire, the new evil empire in the Dodgers gets taken down. You can spend money to buy wins, but you can't spend money to buy series. World Series.
I'm always in for sadness with the evil empires.
I
mean, the most you can give them.
But is that great for baseball? Like, is that best for the viewership, for the health of the sport, to watch the Dodgers make it and go, you know what, the plucky upstart, the Mariners won it?
You know, I think for baseball, okay, because I think this happens in the world of money and buying things. What I'm in there for is a good series. I always tell my kids that. Who are you rooting for? Well, I want to watch a good game. Because I think so many times, whether it be any sport, life, we anoint things. We anoint people. We anoint them before anything's played. And for baseball right now, they anointed the Dodgers. Right? They anointed the Dodgers before the season started. So I'd be all in. Who cares? Like, yeah, they're by their own pay. They're the best team right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing the best baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, they get the best pitching rotation. They get the best lineup. Look at what they're doing right now. The Phillies right now, look at the averages right now. You're seeing in these series. Trey Turner's hitting 143. Schwarber's 0 at this point. Harper, 143. Baum, 167. That's your top 4 hitters. Castellanos, 167.
They're keeping a lid on him.
On the flip side, you got dudes. I mean, Ohtani not having a great 222, but Betts is hitting 389. Kiki Hernandez, just a playoff killer, 412. Freddie Freeman, pedestrian 267. But they're getting it done on the bump.
They are. And that's what happens. Pitching pays. And there might be some guys playing their way into some coin after this.
Now, this one will be what happens when they flip the script. Obviously, it's always nice to go home. So these series will flip to the home bases. Cubs will get a home game coming up. A couple of homers. You'll get to go to Philly, a cross country, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. Cross country trips.
Raucous environment.
The series that's been, I think, the most entertaining.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. You're getting really, really, really high-level baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Mariners, Tigers.
Yeah.
That's high-level baseball.
It's a fun one today at 3:08.
Yep.
Fun one.
Mariners. And again, they're flipped it back. That thing's 1-1. They're in Rock City, Detroit tonight.
I'll tell you what, there's an absolute butt whooping that's set to have a first pitch at 7:08. The Blue Jays have been tanking the Yankees to the woodshed.
Mm-hmm.
They've
hitting the baseball.
Yeah, how about 13 runs in game 2?
Absolute. The Vladdy Granny.
How about 10 runs in game 1? They got 23 combined runs in 2 games.
You see the Vlad Granny.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that ball was demolished.
They're back at it tonight as well from Yankee Stadium.
I mean,
baseball's delivering right now in the postseason.
They are. And you know what? Good on baseball. Because at this time of year, the postseason, it needs to be forefront. It needs to be at the front of mind. And you know what? We've had some good series.
Mm-hmm.
We have the wild cards. I thought were overall a pretty big hit. You know, I thought we had some good competitive series in there. Mariners Tigers, obviously probably the most competitive, being tied at 1-1.
I think those are the most 2 evenly matched teams that are playing each other in the entire series.
Yeah, it just felt like Toronto and New York. It's like Toronto's kind of got their number, don't they? And they're taking advantage of a pitching staff that is kind of beat up.
Mm-hmm.
They're worn down. No Garrett Cole, nothing to help you out there. I mean, you don't have your top of the line ace, but Boy, Toronto is. What a fun CS that'd be. You get Toronto and Seattle. I get it's the 1 and the 2, but that's a fun one too.
And they're missing a star in their lineup.
Mm-hmm.
With Bichette being down.
Mm-hmm.
They're missing a star.
But it doesn't matter. They're still swinging. Next man up. They got a whole country happy, which doesn't make me happy.
More chances coming up today.
More chances.
More chances. So if we're getting into that, watch some baseball today as well. So let's take a break and come back. We'll probably have to help this guy out too. He might be on the downside and just trying to figure things out and why the Patriots keep being thorn in his Bills side. We'll talk to Brian Munson from HuskerOnline.com when we return.
Fire up the burner. Okay.
Hey, if you guys don't think this $2,000 is real, we just got an email. One of our stations just hit one. So go in and put the keyword in. Candy. You never know. Never know. What the heck? I think we'll get a kind of a live little peek because I think somebody might think so. I think Brian Munson was in Buffalo.
That might have been the case. We don't know.
For the game, I believe.
We got to ring him up. I'll ring him up here soon, but we gotta ask him about that.
Right, 840. That had to feel good, didn't it?
We put that over the airwaves of Lincoln. The good people of Lincoln, the hardworking people of Lincoln, Nebraska, had to listen to
There's
that
a lot of things
as they drive into work.
There's a lot of things I say no to, like putting former people on here that think they know fantasy. No, right? Can't have those people, but I couldn't stop that one.
No, I made my bet. I had to lay in it.
You know,
it may have been a bed of nails that just deeply embedded every speck of my skin, but I had to do it. I'm a man of my word.
Again.
I know. I'm gonna have to cleanse
But there
myself.
are a lot of people listening that probably appreciated. One, you paid your debt. You're a man of your word.
Well, I got to be. If a man doesn't have integrity, what is a man then?
Secondly, there's some Cubs fans around.
There are some Cubs fans around, especially one almanac.
I don't know what he is.
He's a fan of good things in life.
Oh boy, this is interesting. We'll talk about. I'm keeping that story for later. That story for later.
All right, here we go. I'll ring him when we get back.
Okay. Welcome back to the morning hookup. Everything Brian Munson. He'll be on Shirley with us. Hopefully he's doing okay. I think he was out there.
He might just be wallowing in sadness. We don't know. We've got to check in on our guy.
Yeah, I think he's good. I was just checking, make sure I didn't miss anything from one Brian Munson. Everybody looks forward to hearing from Brian. We'll try to cheer him up as we effort that way. We'll also get into talking about travel plans. Big emphasis yesterday at the presser about travel plans and how you stick to the guns and it's well planned out. But if you didn't hear Coach Rule talk about it yesterday, typically they go Friday morning, obviously with the logistics of getting out to Maryland in its vicinity where it's at. They're going to leave on Thursday. what impact that might have, or was that the impact of what we've seen over the time? Penn State just took that long flight across to the west. I'll text them. That long flight across west. Now you're seeing teams starting to go, they're going to the coast, leaving days early.
Yeah, and I don't blame them. It's a new era that we find in, like, not only just the Big Ten, but like also the ACC has had to do it. I mean, you're flying like straight cross country in some instances. Yeah, I don't blame teams for wanting to leave maybe a day early, try to get out of class a little bit, try to handle some business early, and then get that day to just kind of touch down, get your feet in a new environment, acclimate yourself just to make sure that you're ready to go, because you don't want to hop off the plane off a cross-country flight and be sluggish. You'd rather just stay overnight, make sure things are all acquainted. You got to have some security now. You don't want people, rattling the windows and making sure you don't get any sleep, a la, Nebraska ball with a fire alarm in Sioux Falls. But,
yeah, thanks.
You do want to make sure that your ducks are in a row and that you have, that you're able to get your athletes acclimated, because the last thing you want is a sluggish team. Thanks, Penn State. You don't want a sluggish team traveling across the country and find yourself at a spot where you're down 21 rip going into halftime, or 20 rip going into the half, a la Washington and Maryland. Get in early, get your prep done, and make sure that travel's of the utmost priority, so that way you're able to play your best ball come Saturday, because it's not a late kick on Saturday. You got a 2:30, 3 o'clock kick?
2:30. They said, Coach would say, we're not a big Thursday operation. We like to go on Fridays and keep our routine, but this is one time the only time this year we'll go out on Thursday, just because of the nature of being on the East Coast and traveling to those areas. We'll take advantage of Friday as a day. Talk about the brotherhood of the team, just spend some time together and take the day to lock in and get focused to the game. They did. It was documented that Washington didn't get there till about 1 o'clock in the morning Thursday night, because it is a unique area to fly into, because you pick your poison. You're going to go into Baltimore, Washington International. You're going to go into D.C. Yeah, there's a bunch of logistics. College Park is not in the most easy area, or call it whatever.
It's not accessible,
no.
Not readily accessible via a plane or something. So there's travel arrangements that do have to be made.
I'm efforting Brian Munson.
Good man.
Or where are you?
Bill Hooks is ripping off texts as we speak.
Like that. I could have just did the old person.
Hey, give me a ring when you can.
Don't do that. Don't do that. So, yeah, it's just an interesting, as you start to adjust, what's the adjustment like? Because you've seen it. Now, you can't blame it on all the travel. Penn State, your travel was not an issue. It was maybe, but you got to show up to play football.
That's a team beating you twice.
You got to show up to play football.
That's Oregon beat them once, and they beat them the next week. And then, hey, UCLA, Jerry Neuheisel, how about it? I mean, Tim Skipper, I mean, they had something. Nico finally looked like a $2 million quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He got his pay boost, and he finally started to show why they maybe paid him that money. Now, maybe if he showed up against New Mexico, maybe they wouldn't have such bad losses on their record, but that's just me. But Penn State did not play their best game. I mean, Hooksy, they looked asleep. They looked like they didn't.
They never really woke up.
They didn't get out of the hotel room until the.
They never really woke up. So interesting. Maybe we got our guy. I know he's probably a little down and out. All is not gone. Bills are 4-1. Wanted to make sure. Oh, we got him.
We got our guy.
All right, it's our guy. Husker Online's Brian Munson. B, what's up?
What's up, guys? They just hit me up. I walked away from my desk for a minute, didn't take the phone. And I was like, what do you think the chances are that I got a phone call while I got up? And sure as heck I did. So sorry about that.
That's okay. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Did I dream it or not? Were you just in Buffalo?
I was. I was. It was the Sean Hockley special. Is that the one that you're referring to? Oh my goodness. It was 10 times worse in person than it was on television. I had guys texting me, the officials are going to ruin this game. Well, they did. They did, first of all. But, I mean, otherwise it was such a great experience. Like, I'll tell you what, without trying to offend either side, and I'm saying this sincerely, because I met great people there from Lincoln. Ooh. There were people there that were in the tailgating section at Hammerlot that were from Lincoln. I met people from Aurora. I met a retired person from Omaha. I'm telling you, there was so many similarities between being in Buffalo and being in Lincoln when it comes to just game day kind of stuff. It was really comforting, I guess, is how I would kind of summarize all of it. For anybody that was like looking for a tremendous experience, I'm telling you, that was one of the greatest ones I've ever had. It was fantastic all the way through. One of the worst games I've ever watched. So, but it was a tremendous experience.
Yeah, the only thing I'm disappointed in is the fact that I know where we are in life, that you didn't experience a table break, a flaming table break or something.
I didn't. The Hammerlot where we hung out the most, they literally have a sign as you walk through. It was like no dizzy bats, no something else, and it says then no table breaking. And it's not a problem with the table breaking and any type of liability. The problem is that when these guys start going with table breaking, it's like a Limp Bizkit song. They're saying, give me something to break. And then they go to other people's tailgating sections. They steal their tables, take them back to their area, and then bust them up. So it's not a fear of getting injured or liability. It's more like people don't like their tables being stolen for the sole purpose of being destroyed. Kind of crazy.
That's fair. That's totally fair. I completely understand that. Why would you, like, if somebody just stumbles, you're trying to make a nice little crock pot of chili. Okay. You're getting your afternoon going. And then the next thing you know, some hooligan comes and snatches your table, and all you're left with is a crock pot of chili on the ground. Where did my table go?
You what,
it's getting busted up.
No chili cooking there. Had a lot of wings.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
They did what was called the bowling ball shot, where they put the alcoholic beverage into the thumb hole of a bowling ball. You tipped over and drank out of the thumb hole, and then you had to put the bowling ball on the ground and pick it up again and then blow through this, like the horn that they have at the soccer matches, whatever those things are called. But then fried bologna, which I didn't know was a Buffalo thing, did not partake in that. But they had something called beef on weck, and I think Nebraska folks would say, oh, it's just a prime rib sandwich. It's a sliced prime rib sandwich with like a really rich au jus on kind of a Kaiser roll, but it had a salted like topping, like where you would typically have like sesame seed or something like that if you had something like that, but it was salt. And it was fabulous. It was totally fabulous. So they ate good. They were super nice. People walked around, even with the Patriots fans among them. They were terrific. It was a great time.
Brian, did you real quick before we get into some Husker talk? Did you run into any flying objects of the WNBA or Cleveland Browns sort out there that maybe have an appropriately named nickname for the Bills?
I don't understand what that reference is to. What is the? I don't understand it. What's up?
Say it, young man. No, don't.
I was about to say, I don't know what the statute of limitations on the FCC guidelines is, but some sort of toys, maybe of the more grown-up variety.
Oh, no. I got you. The vibrant green colored.
Yes.
No,
we didn't have any flying at maybe some Sean Hockley egregious decisions.
I tell you what, it would have tested my arm strength to get it there from my seat if I had one, but I saw nothing like that. But I tell you, the boos towards Hockley and his crew were very, very real. There were some very upset, disappointed folks. I mean, the minute that they said Sean Hockley was the official in the stadium, there was just a collective kind of like one of those deals. I mean, you dig into the numbers, the Bills are 1-5 over 8 seasons when he's officiated their games.
Oh, man.
We're not close enough to playoff time.
No, I don't think so at all either. I mean, this is totally recoverable. You wish it wasn't against the Patriots, but I mean, overall, the Bills still played like garbage, like a hot dumpster fire. But I think that ultimately, the officiating deserves some criticism, so it's getting it.
Again, we're speaking to Brian Munson, HuskerOnline.com. Brian, let's talk about a unit that's playing really good from game one and the development going forward. And more, I want to get the thoughts on the recruiting part of it, the coaching part of it. But you look at this defense right now and look at some of the young parts that are playing it. Man, look at a Dawson Merritt that's just coming out, and he's got it, again, starting at linebacker. Guthrie, redshirt freshman. Williams already starting to make his presence. What is that? You can name the list. Van Poppel, all of them. When you look at those young kids, what does that tell you about the recruiting cycle and the coaches that we have developing these kids?
Well, I think number one, I think they know they have a great understanding about what it is they're looking for in their defense. And I think that we all would agree that, looking at this roster before the season started, it was incredibly young. It was totally back end loaded with all young talent and super huge classes. That's why we're going to have a really small class in the 2026 group. But I think that, Nowerney, that I was watching. Unfortunately, I was at the Eastern Michigan Buffalo game too on Saturday and had to kind of double dip. But when I watched Nowerney, there's some Alden Smith in there. Not the character stuff on the side, but I'm talking about the straight up, total disruptive player. Kind of coming from the same area too. Of the world. I think that those are very similar guys to me. He took a gigantic step forward this last weekend. And I tell you what, with Guthrie, I had a couple of private conversations about him because Sean Callahan had noticed or had said something in Tunnel Talk on Friday, and I had gotten the notification actually that Guthrie was starting. And I think, I followed up with a question or two. I was like, so what is this saying? Is there problems in the back end? Should we be concerned or whatever? And the comment back from the person who told me was, no, Guthrie's playing that well. And I think that you and I, if I went back and found the right episode, I'm pretty sure we talked about Rex Guthrie last spring. Yep. So he had been recovering from a lower leg injury from his high school, from his senior year. He had come to Lincoln to rehab, and the word was obviously that he was looking spectacular and then had a setback. And I don't think they really wanted to risk it, beyond that. They just didn't feel like there was kind of a need to. And now that he's completely healthy, I think that Nebraska fans are seeing, right away what was so special about Guthrie. And I think some of those offers, I think, had been kind of questioned, I think, up to that point, because I think Rule really went out with that clearly in mind during those summer camps that he was going to offer guys at those camps. Look at the guys though that he's gotten out of it. I mean, he's gotten Donovan Jones. Hufkin now is making a very early appearance in the game this weekend. I think there's still a lot of potential there to kind of go along with it, and then you got Guthrie, and I think those are really, really good success stories to kind of circle and be excited about. And I think it just goes back to, if you give this staff a chance to really go in there and evaluate guys, they do a very sound job of doing it, and I think that really, you guys really brought up some really good points though. I mean, about the young defense. And I think there's a lot of things to be excited about. I think there's going to be some growing pains still, but I think that obviously the future looks very good on that side of the football.
Brian, let's zoom out. Let's take the 7th floor memorial photo deck view of this. Let's evaluate the game as a whole. When you look at that type of game where that Nebraska fans, it felt like deja vu for a bit, where they'd seen it before, that, oh, here we go again feeling, where things start to go a little bit south, but there was some development. The special teams showed up in a big way. Your defense looked on fire. The offense, when it needed to, was absolutely on the mark. There were some struggles there, but that's a game that Nebraska has lost before. Did that make an impression on the recruits, just the guts and the determination that team did not go down at least without swinging and maybe taking a limb or two?
No, I think it did. I mean, several of the recruits this weekend were offensive linemen, the guys specifically that I went out there and spoke with. And they noted, that Nebraska started out branding iron hot. and then kind of went in, into kind of the bucket a little bit and just did not ever seem to kind of emerge until the fourth quarter. But then they said that they felt like when they were hitting on all cylinders. But it was just like there was a loss of basically half the game from quarter 2 to quarter 4 that essentially like just people just didn't know like what was kind of happening there. And I agree with you. I think that that's a game Nebraska loses, last season and the season before. I don't think they could ever have gotten out of their own way. I don't think they could have ever figured out what the things were that were going to happen. And I also feel like you never would have had a positive play like a blocked punt for a touchdown in either one of those first 2 seasons. And you got to give credit where it's due when it comes to Mike Eckler and Matt Rule and what they're trying to get accomplished there. So I think 100% the recruits saw it. They saw the improvement. It didn't again, there wasn't a loss like there was 2 weeks ago against Michigan, where the environment and the fans kind of overshadowed anything that happened, specifically on the field in terms of the result. But it did get noted by several recruits, where things kind of stalled out and quieted down once they fought through it, that's what that game when that weekend was all about. In fact, it was quoted to me that, when they were in the locker room, Matt Rule brought that up. Matt Rule brought it up specifically. That's not a game we win last year. That's not a game we win 2 years ago. We've kind of turned around that corner. We're able to kind of figure things out now during the game, make adjustments, don't lose confidence, and keep battling. Those are huge types of improvement and growth when it comes to this program.
Brian, another high level, for me, just talking it out, when you've had so many people on campus, you've had commits coming back and peer recruiting and stuff, but you've hosted the 30s, the 40s, 20 last week, and you got a big one coming up in a few weeks against USC.
Yeah.
When you start tracking this, what is the hit rate from fall to winter to second visits for these kids? Because you can't have them all back. Yeah. Well, maybe you can if you host a really big bash. But what are you looking for from that perspective? Because again, as a fan, you're like, well, when are they going to commit? When are they coming back? Who's coming? Who's not coming?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's something interesting to see what the hit rate is from these big time weekends to the second and whatever third visits we might get.
No, it's a tremendous question, because I think that's going to be ultimately what I'm going to be starting to track too. The data here that you're going to want to understand is that everybody kind of is falling into 2 different categories. You have the ones that are first timers during the fall versus those that are coming back for return visits in the fall. And then the first kind of graded data, I think, out of that is going to be who is coming back again for a winter junior day to a spring practice to whatever the spring game is going to be this year. That's kind of that first 3-month window. You want to understand things basically from January to March, maybe April, right? And maybe it is January to March and then April. But then I think it becomes a June deal unless they do any type of official visitors before the month of June, which they chose not to do last summer. And then kind of figuring out then how do they whittle this thing down to who the folks are they're going to bring in for official visits. And I think then you look at how do the weekends get structured in the month of June? Because I think you've been able to tell before, where these are the big recruiting weekends. These are the weekends where they're putting people together that they want to meet and have time together with other recruits, et cetera. Like they've done that before. So I think that's the next set. I mean, as far as hit rate is concerned, I really feel like Nebraska has to feel terrific about all of the recruits they brought this fall. In this fall, now it's on them to figure out, on Nebraska, to figure out how to get them back. I think that they should feel like 90+% of those guys, if they ask them to come back, they're going to come back. And that's what I really feel like is the next kind of thing. It's then for what? What are we doing? How are we going to keep continuing to build our board? And are these guys in separate buckets themselves? Do you need more more time with the individual and the family? Do you just need to bring them back to Nebraska for the sake of bringing them back? You know, like, or do they need to see something like a day in the life of a Cornhusker where they're going through basically the day in the life of the student athlete? So you're going into like the whole spring practice kind of thing and letting them see like how all those things kind of turn. That was really valuable, like with Trey Taylor last year. So I think that you're going to have to figure out what would be like the most effective way or effective weekend or event to kind of bring those guys back for. And I think, though, Nebraska should feel great about getting the vast majority of all the recruits that have visited so far this fall back in the spring, if that's what they want to do.
Brian, let's talk a little bit and look forward a teeny bit. I know we're kind of getting towards decommitment season and flip season, and that's kind of like the big buzzword around recruiting right now. I know Michigan was making a pretty strong push to try to flip Danny Odom at one point. What can you tell us about the status with him? And is Nebraska maybe looking to return the favor and try to flip somebody else from some other schools around the area? I know they had Josiah Teasley in town for 2026. He's a Virginia commit. I know they've kind of been working on Cameron Wilson all summer. Is there anything like that we can know about? What's the status of Danny Odom right now?
I think still with Danny, you know, he's got to feel terrific about like where Nebraska sees him at, about the development, of course, that they kind of have set up for him in the spot in which they kind of see him in the class, how he fits in the defense. I know that Michigan has kind of zeroed in. It is a little bit frustrating, I'm sure, for Nebraska fans to kind of see some things about like, well, Michigan conveniently offered Danny Odom after he was in Lincoln and watched basically, you know, Nebraska drop, you know, a game to Michigan. So that would be kind of an interesting situation there a little bit. I think maybe there's some other Big Ten interests there that could potentially come into play. I know that you brought up Josiah Teasley. I'm going to write a little bit of an article on him tomorrow, my 3 and Out section, and just I think things look really good for the Huskers and Teasley. He said some really interesting things in his post-visit interview with me that just kind of opened up my eyes a little bit. If you really go back and read his words that were in his interview on Saturday night, you would really get you would really kind of have kind of this I think this feeling that the Huskers are in a tremendous spot for him, and he will be back in November. He just doesn't know yet if it's going to be USC or Iowa. So just kind of hang loose there a little bit, and we'll get it figured out to see what he's going to come back to an official visit.
Well, Brian, you know, one more on the recruiting side, and I think we talked about maybe last week we hit this, but how are they navigating the cycle with a possible 5-for-5 still in play? Because I think that's an interesting piece that I think a lot of people are like, well, is it going to or not? And it's maybe, I don't know if it's hindering them a little bit because you're also dealing, you know, with rev share, NIL, but you also have that part of it. Is there a plan? I mean, obviously there's a plan, but on how they're navigating that.
Yeah, I don't know necessarily. Like, I know Rule brought it up a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago in his press conference. It might have been the week following, might have been on the bye week press conference on Monday after Michigan. But I think that they're still kind of questioning whether or not it's going to be a real thing. I think that the one thing that they have that maybe indicates that it will get there is that, you know, they were told, you know, all the while that all these other changes were coming, and they've been kind of told like, hey, this is going to pass. And then it just sat there for months and months until it just kind of showed up. And then they just had to, you know, integrate it into how they were kind of running their business. So I think Nebraska has a plan. I don't think you can kind of push all your chips in to the middle right now and say, we believe this is going to happen. However, Nebraska has to understand, and I think the players have to understand this too, if you can be of that assistance to Nebraska kind of moving forward to where you can kind of put them over the top and you can get away from just having, you know, getting to 7 wins this year. If the difference in that player playing this year could push the needle from 7 to 8, 8 to 9, or at least make it a better unit, I think they're going to go ahead and review that with this year's, like with the recruits that are, or the guys that are currently on the roster. But I think besides that, I think they also want to say, like, look, we've shown that we have a great record of basically playing young guys. If you can come in here and be ready, we've shown that we will play the young guys. So I think that part already kind of stands up when it comes to the recruits, because they can point their finger at several guys on the roster that are very young, that are already in positions of whether they're starting or playing a prominent role. I think they already have a pretty good mapped out plan and design that they can show those guys.
Well, Brian, always, man, thanks for hanging out with us and taking the time to break down Nebraska recruiting and helping. We get to help you soothe over a really tough loss for Buffalo, and it's at times it's therapy, and we appreciate you hanging out with us, man. Take care of yourself. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good, guys. We'll see you soon.
Brian Munson, HuskerOnline.com. Let's take another break. We come back, stories that we missed.
All right, long one here.
Good stuff coming up on Brian's them. Boy, I want to look at something. I just want to.
I got a feature story that we missed because it's kind of flying under the radar.
Okay.
But yeah.
I'm gonna look at something and see if it's what time do they play? Yeah, hasn't switched yet. We'll see. Interesting story. Developing.
What's your developing?
Kobe.
Story?
You said you guys stand up for LeBron's decision at 11. He made his decision.
It was
He
a
trolled us all.
Hennessy ad.
It's a Hennessy ad. Go look. I think it was 10 o'clock Central.
Yeah.
It's a Hennessy ad.
They set the announcement for like 11, like it's supposed to be like noon Eastern, but he kind of trolled everybody by releasing a Hennessy
He's
ad.
partnering with Hennessy.
Which, like, he already did. He had the Bron Julio. Don't you remember?
Mm-hmm. Year 23. Hennessy.
Maybe he's gonna troll Jordan with a vintage bottle of Hennessy.
He is not MJ.
You think he's a fraud? You think he's a fraud? Fraudulent 2-3?
Yes. That number should have been retired forever.
League wide?
Yeah, take it out.
But then how would insert?
Nobody could ever.
But then how would insert random bench warmer on the Thunder feel special?
Nobody could ever do that number.
Is it like Kobe where he says, take off my shoes, you trash?
Disrespect.
Right?
Yeah, Kobe. He did that. It was Hennessy.
Will Bill Hooks be changing his drink?
Never.
It's not going to be the Bron Julio with a splash of water?
Never.
You're not going to cheat on Crown?
Nope.
What do you got for now? I know me and my buddies are going to get dinner. We're going to watch a little baseball. We're gonna get into some other sporting activities, but
tonight for me,
yeah,
I got to be a parent this week. So here's the deal. I got some stuff. I got work to do after this. Is catch up on and do some things, and then I've got to pick up I'm doing the orthodontist appointment with my 14-year-old. I drew that straw, and then from 5 to 6 we have our 11-year-old. It's parent teacher conference day.
Mm-hmm.
So then after 6 o'clock, I will find somewhere to do something. I don't know yet. So I got to get through the parent stuff first.
You got to adult first.
Yeah. Same thing on Thursday. Thursday, we also have parent teacher conferences for that. We get to the point. So we do parent teacher conferences we'll do 9th grade. We're done.
Did I ever tell you how my mom used to approach parent teacher conferences with me? She said, don't even schedule them. I know you're doing fine.
Yeah, I mean, I see the grades, and again,
like literally,
ours is just to let our kids know.
Yeah,
look, we're taking a peek. We are interested.
Yeah,
right.
We care about your schooling.
But your kids, if I hear it, I'm going to hear it today. Tanner's such a nice kid. He's doing so.
It got to the point where the teachers told my mom, "Don't even come."
Yeah,
they were just.
Yeah,
like,
I can
fine.
see their grades now. Like I see them, and they're great.
You got the parent portal thing.
I'm proud of them.
You incentivize your kids at all? Do you go, hey, if you get good grades?
Nope, it's a requirement.
Oh, okay.
To get good grades in the house.
Handle your business.
Now, does it help you maybe when you ask a question, go do stuff? Yeah. But it's not like you get a $5 for an A and what? No. If it's a requirement to get good grades in the house. It's an earned Yes, somewhere down the line, possibly.
So it's
You know what I'm
the
saying? It's-
benefit of a future leeway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Negotiating
If you're
power.
conducting yourself the right way, I always say this about this way, on and off the field, per se,
Yeah.
then yes. Yes is typically an answer. But they know. They can see their grades too. We give them access. Look.
Here's your grades.
It's also a requirement when they get home that there's a way to do things.
Mm.
I'm an old school parent.
Handle your business first.
I'm not telling people how to parent. That is off my radar. They come in, they know they're able to get a snack, go to the bath, whatever, and then within 30 minutes they have to be on homework and get it done.
See, we had the 30-minute buffer where it's like, hey, watch a little programming.
Yeah.
5 o'clock rolls around, we are working on homework, and then you get right back to it.
Yeah, it does. Homework is not to be done after dinner.
No.
In my opinion, that's on one parent's opinion.
Homework is a before dinner thing. Now,
Yes.
when you get a little bit older, I get it.
Yeah, like our college kid, you're kind of quasi adult.
Yeah.
You be accountable. I can't see her grades.
I get it. All right, here we go.
Welcome back to the Morning Hookup. Special thanks to Brian Muntz and HuskerLine.com, and both of them today for hanging out with us. A few moments left. We're going to get right into stories that we missed.
The stories we missed. The Morning Hookup.
Ooh, something to watch for. It's the whatever. I can't even say it because it's the Red River Shootout to me.
Rivalry.
I don't like it.
Say it, Hooksy.
They're now reporting starting quarterback might play. Mateer might play. He's showing significant progress.
You know, I heard some people
The
say
line
that
is still Texas by 2, by the way, just letting you know.
I saw somebody bring up the fact, and I can't remember who it was, but somebody brought up, do you bench Arch Manning to give yourself a chance to win the Red River game?
Oh,
He's looked
wow.
bad.
Like reported a couple weeks ago, it continues to be possible he ends up playing this week, but no final call has been made as of yet. The post-surgery feedback was very good and led to optimism regarding the recovery timetable. So, as Louis Corso would say, not so fast, my friends.
Hooksy, we missed it. It's been flying under the radar. The NHL kicks off tonight.
Oh, what? Only thing I got in the NHL was dude signed a big-time contract.
Yeah. Guy signed a big-time contract. McDavid got a little extension. No, we got a triple dipper tonight.
What?
We aren't even going to Chili's. We got a triple dipper. Hooksy. Blackhawks Panthers at 4. Penguins Rangers at 7. And then your nightcap is the Avalanche and the Kings. Hooksy. We completely missed this one. It's a gaffe on our part.
Can I tell you, I didn't miss it. It just didn't hit my radar. Unfortunately, yes, there's a lot of people that are going to be on this, but unfortunately right now, with what's happening, you've got playoff baseball tonight. There's the other sports are giving us so much right now, right? For me personally, I have a hard time turning that page, but you know what? For a lot of people tonight is like Christmas Day. There'll be a banner dropped. The Panthers, right? They're heading for 3 straight. 3 straight. They got their rings last night. See those rings?
Big old rock, man.
Oh, boy. So, yeah, maybe I didn't miss it.
Did you see the Nafisa Collier thing where she basically went out in a statement and absolutely trashed the WNBA's officiating?
Yeah. But is it bad? Yes. I don't want to be insensitive when I say this, but that league continues. I mean, again, they got stars, right? But they need some physical play, don't they? Mm-hmm. Makes you want to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just throwing it out there, not, had to get ratings, had to get that stuff without, have a little controversy behind it. I do think their commissioner's crazy, but
true.
Just, pardon me.
Hey, how about this, Hooksy? Apparently a certain somebody who is paid $4 million smackaroos. Carson Beck's the leader in the clubhouse for the Heisman right now. The Heisman odds have him at a little plus 600 if you're into that betting sphere. But Carson Beck's playing his way into some conversations that maybe he's paid to be in.
Well, they look to be back, don't they? as a program.
They look to be. But
They
we
look
say
to-
that about Miami every year, and I'm not taking the bait, Hooksy. I'm not doing it. They're dangling out in
But
front of
they-
me, and I can't take the worm.
But they're playing the part on both sides of the ball. They're one of the two teams right now optically that looked most complete.
I'd give you that, yeah.
Because I would say right now, Ohio State and Miami are head and shoulders above anybody else in the league. In the landscape.
Okay.
Just my opinion. That defense, Ohio State, my goodness. Other guy, you got Beck, Dante Moore, by the way. And here's your top 5. Beck, Dante Moore, Ty Simpson now has been dynamic the way he's played. Jeremiah Smith and Julian Sand wraps out that top 5.
So I know we need to have some uncomfortable conversations. So let's have an uncomfortable NFL conversation.
Let's go.
Do we need to legitimately talk about Dak as like a top 5-ish QB? He's
Have
been
you
incredible.
seen the way he's playing right now?
He's been incredible.
Can you say no?
Wide receiver 1.
Can you say no?
Just like we need to put Puka as probably the best wide receiver in the NFL right now.
I'm hands down. I'm with you right now. Well, you look at the numbers that way. Dak, I mean, he's behind Stafford's been dynamic, by the way.
He's been incredible.
Over 1,500 yards, but Dak's 1,356 yards right now. Puka, by the way, is now, Smith and Jigba had a great game, but Puka still leads the league. 588 receiving yards right now, 50 more.
We're having uncomfortable conversations.
We are, I know.
We are pushing buttons, Hooksy.
Any idea who's 5th in passing in NFL? Drake May.
No. He's kind of been cooking. I'm not
Put that in your bags. Tomorrow, Husker legend Henry T. Buchanan and a whole lot more baseball playoffs. Thank you, guys. Have a great Tuesday. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. We'll catch you on a hump day.